What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I just want to do a real quick video all about my last tournament, which was on Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri. It was the 4th tournament of the year on the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals, and if any of you guys have been watching my 3 previous last tournament videos, you know it's been a tough start to the season for me. I haven't had the finishes I've wanted to. Things just haven't worked out in the first 3, but thank God, finally, the 4th tournament of the year, everything worked out somewhat smooth. I ended up walking away with a 16th place finish, which I'm really happy about. Kind of get the wheels back on the bus, get a little confidence back in myself. And yeah, it was a great trip. I really enjoyed it. All things about it. My family got to come, so we kind of made a little mini family vacation. It was a smooth trip. And I ended up doing decent in the tournament, which is always nice as well. So to break down the tournament, we were there right around the spawn. So in practice, I didn't have the best practice, which is kind of ironic because the last 3 tournaments I've had, especially the last 2, I've had extremely good practices and haven't had that good of finishes. And in this one, I didn't have the best practice. I kind of had an idea of what was going on, but like I said, I didn't have the best practice, and I just kind of ran with it in the tournament and ended up working out. So to break down my practice, like I said, we were there around the spawn, and it was kind of all over the board for me. I tried. One thing I didn't do that well in practice, in my opinion, is I think I got a little spread out. On these bodies of water that are as big as Lake of the Ozarks or the Tennessee River, pretty much any body of water that we go to that have these big tournaments on, they're very sectional when you're around the spawn. And what I mean by that is there's always that section of the lake that it seems like a lot of the guys that do really well in the tournament come out of. So it's just that they find that section that there's just a lot of fish up shallow or a lot of fish locked on beds, and it was kind of like that in practice. You would go, 40 miles down the river, see nothing, you're fishing around in the back of the pockets, not catch anything, and all of a sudden you drive 10 miles back and you pull into the right pocket, and they were just everywhere on beds. There's big females cruising, and I kept that in mind in the tournament. I never got really locked into one area or one section of the lake. I just kind of kept an open mind and knew that eventually I was going to run into that right pocket and get a couple of the right bites that I needed that day. And that's really how the tournament kind of worked out for me. The first day of the tournament, I went to a few spots that I thought I could catch a couple early in the morning, first thing from practice, and I ended up doing so. I ended up catching a small limit right away, and then I just kind of ran new water, looking for, bigger fish that were locked on beds, or just looking for that right pocket that I could pull into and get a few of the right bites. And the first day, it worked out. I pulled into one pocket, caught a good one on just a Strike King Ocho, skipping it back behind the boat docks under the cables, and then was able to come across a decent one on a bed, one right around 4 pounds on a bed. And then I ran a few other pockets, didn't catch anything, and then I pulled into another pocket and upgraded a few more times, called out my smallest fish a few more times, and then caught another really nice one off a bed. Actually, it was funny, the first day of the tournament, I found right towards the end of the day, about 1:30, I found a really nice one on a bed. My smallest fish was 1 ounce, under 3 pounds. It was 2 pounds 15 ounces, and this fish was a little bit deeper. I couldn't quite tell how big it was, but to me it looked like it was about 3 1/4 to 3.5 pounds, and I decided to not catch that fish on day 1. Actually, I just didn't, like I said, I didn't have the best practice, so I didn't want to burn a fish, call out a 215 for a 3 1/4 and only get about a 1/4 pound upgrade when I could have used that 3 1/4, 3.5 pound fish the next day. So day one I ended up weighing a good bag, 15 pounds and some change. And then for day two, I started in an area that I noticed was getting a lot of pressure. It was an area that I fished actually the first day of the tournament. I wasn't the first boat in there, so there's a few boats already in this section or this pocket that I wanted to fish on day one. So I had an earlier boat draw on day two, so I decided to start in there. I caught a 2.5 pounder off a bed right away, and it was a male. I could not get the female to bite, so after about 20-25 minutes I decided to leave and head towards that fish that I decided not to catch on day one. So I ended up catching that fish. It was actually a 4 pounder, so I was really happy that I saved that fish. It was a really nice one. It only took me about 15-20 minutes to get it to bite. So like I said, it was a smooth tournament. It was a good decision, and it worked out that I saved that fish. So I had a 2.5 pounder and a 4 pounder pretty early in the morning, and that kind of gave me the confidence to keep running new water and eventually run into them. So I ran new water, filled out a limit, ended up catching a few more decent ones, and just kind of day two I really worked my way up slowly. I had that good one I caught off a bed in the morning, and then just kind of called up by a 1/2 pound, 3/4 pound here or there, and worked my way up to just under 15 pounds, 14 pounds, and I believe 11 ounces on day two. So I made the cut. I went into day three in 16th place. Was really looking forward to the third day. Was looking forward to getting a chance at making a run at the top 10. I was only about a pound or two out of the top 10, so if I had to me another solid day right around that 15 pound mark, I would have made it into the top 10. So I went out day three. Like I said, I didn't have area that I necessarily wanted to start, so day three I had already made the cut, already gotten a decent check, so I ran new water pretty much the entire day and caught a decent limit somewhat early. I think I filled out my limit around 10:30 or so, and it was a smaller limit, 10.5, 11 pounds, somewhere in there, and just started really trying to look for some better ones on beds. So I put the trolling motor on 100 and just started looking. I came across a couple decent ones, caught them. They were right around that 3 pound range, and then I came across a giant. It was the biggest fish I saw all week. There was a 3.5 pound male and a female that was about 5 to 6 pounds. I couldn't quite tell how big she was, but she, like I said, she's the biggest fish that I saw all week. So I could get the male. The male was extremely aggressive. I could get the male to bite right away. I ended up shaking the male off probably 10 to 15 times because the female would not pull up on the bed unless the male was there. So I knew if I could catch the male and the female, I was right there at that 16 pound range and was going to have a chance at the top 10. So I spent a long time on this fish, probably a little over an hour the first time around on the female. Like I said, shaking the male off probably every 5 minutes. And eventually I got the female to bite. And it was very frustrating the first time around. I got her to bite. I had her on for about 4 or 5 seconds and she came off. So the male was setting right back up on the bed. The female was nowhere to be found. So I actually decided to not catch that male. And I decided that I was going to come back later in the day and see if I could get round 2 with the female. So I fished around for another couple hours. I caught fish. They weren't upgrades. Didn't help me out. So then I came back and I pulled right back up. The female sitting there again. So she was really, really tough to get to bite. I worked on her for another probably a little over an hour. Got her to bite a drop shot. I couldn't get her to look at anything that had bigger line. So I got her to bite on a drop shot. I had her all the way up to the side of the boat. She made one last run underneath the floating dock, and my line hit the top of the dock and broke her off. So this wasn't meant to be with that fish, I guess. It was the only fish that I lost the entire week that would have helped me. And it's just, I guess, like I said, wasn't meant to be. It is what it is. I'm happy with the tournament. I lost, like I said, I lost that female 2 times, worked on her for probably a little over 2 hours, probably close to 2.5 hours between the two times, and lost her twice. So that was frustrating, but right after I lost her, it was getting towards the end of the day, so I knew I wasn't going to end up catching that fish, so I ended up catching the male probably 10 minutes after I lost the female, which the male was still a nice fish, 3.5 pounder, and by that time it was pretty much the end of the day.
All right, Robbie, come on up, man, from Jackson, Michigan, making another cut. 15-7 on day 1, 14-5 on day 2. It is Robbie LaFear. 5 bass limit on day 3, championship Saturday. Worth 13 pounds and 1 ounce. Got you in 5th place, Robbie. Another great event, man.
Yeah, I'll take it. This was my first time here, so I really enjoyed it. But I tell you what, running in, I figured out why everyone has such big boats out here. But no, I really enjoyed it. I want to give a huge thank you to my family for coming. We were able to make like a little mini family vacation out of this, so that was awesome. And then I want to give a huge shout out to all my sponsors. My title sponsor, Auto Owners Insurance. They've been with me since I've been 18 years old, and I could not be up here without them. So huge thank you to all those guys over there.
There you go, Robbie, man, tearing it up this year. See you in June on the Potomac. See you in Maryland.
So got a little confidence back, got the wheels back on the bus, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the Potomac here. By the time I'm filming this video, it's coming up in a couple weeks. So Potomac starts June 17th, so I'm looking forward to that. Fingers crossed to get another good one under the belt. Thanks for watching.